Are you busy, clitorati? Are you busy? So busy. Oh, yeah. Oh, I'm too busy. Oh, I can't. I'm so busy. All right.
So busy.
We're looking for 5 busy people who are ready to make some more time for themselves and their pleasure. So if that's you, go ahead and DM us on our Instagram, Pleasure Positive Living, the word time. You can also email us at Pleasure Positive Living, the word time. We love you. You don't have to be so busy. We got you.
Time. Where is all the time? Our more me time is my favorite exercise, where I found like 5 new hours in my week several years ago. Not since I've had 2 kids, but if you do want to hear an outing that I did with my husband, you can check out our Patreon for before and after. We went on a strip club scout on the LA Hollywood Strip.
And you went without us, Katie? What the hell?
We went, it was hilarious. We went way too early, not when people go to strip clubs.
Oh, yeah.
And we were planning on starting there, so it was really good that we did the scout. You can hear all about it. The night ended up being amazing.
Oh, my goodness.
But yeah, you can hear all about our date and get some ideas for yourself, too. If you want to spice things up.
I want to hear about
bit.
Katie at a strip club without us. I'm in for that. Welcome, Clitorati. We have a juicy episode today. Today joining us is a total powerhouse, a friend of mine, a woman on fire, and a PhD in EQ facilitation. She's not just a coach. She's a visionary who's created a transformative process known as SPARC system. This system is the heart and soul of women on fire. So Amber J, our guest today, has discovered the treasure trove of tools and experiences throughout her journey. And today, the 4 of us as coaches and committed to having everyone's desire on fire, we're going to have an open conversation. You're going to hear Amber's inspirational story and just feel her thriving throughout this episode. So please welcome Miss Amber J Lawson to the Pleasure Positive Studio.
Yes.
Oh, hi, goddesses.
Hey.
Yes.
Hey.
What up?
So Amber J, I feel like we need to kind of share how we met. This is a very kismet story. So I actually met Amber J when I was 24 with like an ex boyfriend.
Who, yeah.
Who
I was around then too.
I think
I know
Katie,
Rick.
yeah.
I remember Rick.
Super nice
him.
guy.
Who the
Super
fuck
nice
is Rick?
This is a long time ago.
Rick.
It's a long time ago.
I was probably still a sophomore in high school.
Yeah, no.
Lindsay and I have been friends for a year already at this time.
Yeah. And
this is like second boyfriend.
I was dating an older man. He was 16 years older than me.
He was a lot older.
And he was the like an amazing networker, and he brought me to this networking dinner, and I got sat next to Amber J, and we just totally hit it off. And then we became Facebook friends and like kind of, kept in touch through Facebook. And then about a month ago, I see her at two of our friends, Liz and Roland. Shout out to Sweet Nectar DJs. We were there at an event, and I see her like it was almost like a rom-com. I see her from across the way, and and I was like, I know her. I was like, I don't want to be weird, but I know her, and I know her name. And I said, Amber J, we met like 15 years ago. Do you remember me? And you were like, yes. And we started just catching up, and we realized our journeys were so similar, and there was so much overlap, and we couldn't stop talking about pussy and desire. And you've always just had the most incredible energy. I knew that we had to have you on the show so that we could support everything you're creating and really just start a collaboration with you. So I just thought that was a funny way to start the episode.
Well, and I think it's so important, especially as women in business and in corporate, that women were competition at that point in my life. And I'm grateful that wasn't a truth for me, but it was like a little T truth in the world. But I collected women over time, and I noticed that it all comes back around, and thank God I wasn't an asshole. That's all I gotta say.
No, you were a delight. You were a delight. So I wanna jump right into your story. You're on the red carpet at the Oscars. and you have this epiphany. Can you share with us a little bit how you got from point A to now?
Yeah, so my life looked great, like walking red carpets, I'm on the executive committee of the Emmys. I run all the programming of AOL. I then run content for an Italian base. I had to go to Italy, you all. I know you feel really sorry for me.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
So hard.
It was so rough, you guys. But so on the outside, I was doing all the things that I thought I was supposed to do, especially a girl from Raytown, Missouri, right? I had made it. And yet here I was feeling like, is this it? Is this what it's fun and it's great. But once you've done it a couple of times, it's like, is this it? So I'm leaving the Oscars in the back of a limo with one of my clients. At the time, I ran a social media company for nonprofits. And one of my clients was in the back of the limousine on my way to a sex party.
Okay.
We've never done that before.
When she said to me, hey, have you ever taken a leadership program before? It was like that moment in Go. Do you remember the movie Go, where the guy's standing butt naked and selling Amway? Does that ring a bell? Am I older than you?
No.
Okay. It was that kind of moment. We're on our way to a sex party, and they're signing me up for this leadership course. And I was like, okay.
Wait a minute. What's the name of this leadership program?
MITT.
Oh, okay.
Oh, cool. That's like a sister program to the leadership program.
We all met in Landmark.
Oh, I'm a Landmark person too.
Okay.
Oh, there's
Shocking.
Leo. Yeah. I did that when I first moved to LA, and it, absolutely transformed my life.
Yeah.
So
MITT is like this spiritual version of Landmark.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it's an interactive and all of the things. Sorry, my manly dog is protecting us all from nothing.
From nothing.
As they do.
So I signed up for this not knowing what I was getting myself into, and I found vulnerability. It opened my heart. Everything that I thought was winning at life melted away, and I got to experience true intimacy and connection. And I was like, why are all these coaches around here? I will never be a coach. Cut to a year later. Guess who's a coach? So I wanted to bring the women from my corporate life along with me. I was the only woman on the dais table. I was cruising around the world, which is really exciting and fun, but I was the only woman in the boardroom. And I was doing it like a man and I was successful at it. But I didn't know there was another way to do it. And through this process, and there was a class called Grace, and this class of Grace was all women. It's a sister circle, and bringing your issues to the table. And in the sacredness of this, I got exposed to, I'm not a weirdo. I'm not the only one having this problem or this thought or this thing happen. Like right now, going through menopause and aging and breast cancer. I'm not alone. I'm not the only one experiencing this. And boy, did that just take so much off my shoulders. So hence I made this Woman on Fire, just to bring others along with me, to not be alone through change, and not let our invisible rules, our shoulding all over ourselves, get in the way of our actual gifts being expressed in the world, because we need them more now than ever, especially considering the world is on fire and at war. The feminine, it is who was it? Not Ram Dass. Who said, it's the Dalai Lama said, it's the Western woman who will save the world, right? So it is upon us to do this work and to pussify our lives, by the way, in order to heal the planet, period.
Yeah.
Exclamation
Totally,
point.
Have
totally
you-
aligned with that. So
Have
one,
you read
one,
Pussy as a Reclamation? Pussy, a Reclamation. It's on there. I hear that.
Yeah.
I heard it. I heard it. I get
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
It
What
is-
we share
it's
these
curriculum.
codes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's absolutely.
Yes.
It's our Bible.
yeah, it's what started our whole podcast.
Yep.
So
It's what's-
one
it's-
thing
it's-
that you
Yeah, go ahead.
one thing that you said that really struck me, and a conversation that we, something that we have with all of our participants a lot, is the conversation of self-worth, right? And something that you said that really struck me was, with all the transformational work, because for us, right, we started like the landmark route and then found Mama Gina, and the missing link for us was the sexuality. Very similar. But what you said was, with all of this, you still felt that something was missing, right? But you didn't know how to fix it or even know what it was. So can we talk a little bit about, for our listeners who are listening and they kind of feel that there's something missing, where's a good place for them to start identifying what it is inside of a self-worth conversation, right?
You already said it. It's this, but it's this busy, that busy cat, on the keyboard.
Mhm.
I have a friend in my life, and we always just do this. She's like, I'm very busy. Oh my gosh, I gotta do this. I gotta do that. Busy is avoiding. Busy is not being able to be with myself. And the first step in self-worth is slowing down long enough to listen.
Woo!
Okay.
I can't believe you're saying, I got to tell you about a conversation me and Madison had yesterday. So we're,
Mhm.
inside of our own, female run business, we're in a very pivotal place. We just signed up, to really reinvent our sales system and everything. And I got married, and Katie just had a baby, and, Matt, and everything that's going on in the world. And, Madison is Jewish, and, we felt that we were disconnected from our gut, and that we were like forcing the actions, right? And so I was talking to her, and I said, you know what? I think if you get to a place where you're forcing it that much, you're just ineffective. I think that right now is a time for stillness and to take a moment. And I think that there's a lot of people out there right now that they feel like they are just pushing through the actions. So I love what you said, because that is the first step of self-worth. If you feel like you are forcing everything in your life, be in a moment of stillness. And so we gave ourselves permission to do that. And I know that when I give myself permission to do that, I get more connected to my intuition, and I come back tenfold more effective.
Mhm.
Slowing down. Yeah. Long enough. I call it the 3 C's: clarity, clearing, and committed action. So slowing down long enough in whatever way. And that could be a dance. It could be a bath. It could be sister circle. It could be a walk in nature. It could be, bop, 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 bop. To get clarity, to be in stillness. We were talking about taking a bath as a healing exercise, as a serious tool. It sounds silly, but it is a serious tool. I get downloads in the shower every day. Water is a conduit. It puts you in a theta state. I mean, it's scientific. So that is doing the work. It just doesn't look like the masculine work. This is the feminine work.
Yeah.
That was these are the lessons not taught for Gen Xers. I'm a Gen Xer. Was not taught to me. I had to seek it out at first at Landmark, and then at MITT, and then at Agape, and then at Mama Gina, and then at and right? Like
on a roll.
and again and again and again, and from different angles and different voices, which when it finally landed for me, right, that this slowing down, listening to myself, I am the main character of this show. And I'm the only one who can fix or direct me. And I keep looking outside myself. Who can relate? I still do that today. I catch myself in it. I almost went and coached another program because I wanted inspiration. I wanted motivation, and I wanted structure, because I'm at the precipice of my business also. I'm like at this tweak, right? And it's uncomfortable because I don't have the answers right now. And so I again sought outside myself. And thank goodness it got finally drilled into my head to not do it by myself. I asked for coaching from my PhD crew, and they're like, Amber J, welcome to your patterns. Welcome to your repeating pattern. No, just sit in the uncomfortable, in the uncomfort of this moment, and this too shall pass. And you will get the download, and the download's only for you.
Yeah. And
there's just like something I want to double down on that you were speaking to about the importance of slowing down as access and creating the space, because the space, it's not there by default. It's actually programmed in us to not be there by default. So we have to actively choose it, which takes a certain level of self-awareness of what we're doing. And then a certain level of willingness. Like there has to be something at stake to break that cycle, to get out of being too busy for the sacred, for our feelings, for our healing, for our growing forward. And this is just absolutely,
if I'm
the
too
time
busy,
to slow the fuck down.
If I'm too busy, I don't leave space for the miracle to show up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. You know, we're running these series of sexual satisfaction calls, and you know, I'm just having conversations with our listeners, and it's so interesting. Some people are they're overworked, that they're in a situation also where they kind of have to be, like they need to make the money, they're stuck in this, there's a trap. Like it's almost like, you know, realistically, for someone to break free and live a life where they're living their truth could mean an entire life overhaul. And there's no way that can be done if there's not even the space to begin the contemplation to begin with. But I'd love to, like talk about the significance of really honoring our truth, because I think that there's a lot of jargon of like, live your truth, honor your truth. And for just the everyday person to connect to that, like, what does that mean for them? Because maybe they don't have the platforms that we do, you know. So what does that look like just for the everyday person just trying to live a happy, fulfilled life? And what have you personally found, and how have you, like, what have you personally found in that journey of supporting people to get to their joy, to be honest enough with themselves of what that is, let alone architect their life in a way that allows it to show up, for it to be received?
You're speaking real truth. In our world is set up to just go, to crank, and that our value is tied to that. And this is a real thing with women, especially working women and working mothers, working moms, women. Yeah. Okay. Got it. That this was my experience. My entire value was tied to my making money and having a specific title and showing up in a specific way. And then once I got this, and think of who all this happens to. It happens to athletes. It happens to celebrities. It happens to CEOs. It happens to people who do startups that break out. Influencers. It doesn't mean that you're prepared when success comes, that you're a better evolved conscious person. It takes intentionality to create the space, to seek the teacher, to do the work in order to up level. I work with a lot of founders, cis white men, who create things in the world, who don't realize the impact they have on other people. And now they're billionaires, and their thoughts and movements impact so millions of people's lives. And it's a heavy weight to carry, and a lot aren't aware or conscious of it. Boy, did I get off topic. Here's back to the person who is trying to find their way, is to understand that it's all made up. And it may seem like it is a do or die, but if you don't take the time, and the time could be 5 minutes of meditation a day as a muscle building exercise, that will then open you, and you experience Abraham Hicks, and then you experience Mama Gina, and then you experience something else comes into your path. Maybe it's a clubhouse room, maybe it's a podcast that expands your knowingness, the rules and that you follow in your life, those invisible rules. I'm not kidding. Break the good girl myth is another one of our curriculum.
Ooh.
What are
Haven't
the
read that one yet.
invisible what are the invisible rules you're following? And that starts to chip away and break away from what we think we should be doing.
Yeah, those things you don't know that are running in the background, and it takes work to uncover that. And you know, we've done we call it the 5-day makeover. We had a medical doctor on, and she said, masturbate. You know, talking about meditation, she said, masturbate for 5 days in a row. Take a picture of your face before and after, and see what you look like.
You don't
So-
even need to orgasm. You can just
Yeah.
masturbate and
Yeah.
climax.
And so, and I think that, you know, for us, and I gotta be honest, I've been so stressed out. I have not been masturbating or having sex very recently, but I'm reminded in this conversation right now, I might do the 5-day challenge again, you know, and sometimes we can, even as coaches and facilitators, we let our circumstances get the best of us too, but it is community. Like, you cannot do this alone. You need sister goddesses. You need a community. You need people to remind you of these things and keep you in the conversation, because although it's a simple conversation, it's not easy to keep this alive for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 100%. And this has been a really deep time of mourning and on what feels like a bottomless pit of grief in regards to what is going on in the world, and on just a human level, the level of divisiveness and hate. And, you know, I've been masturbating, and I've really seen, like, actually, like, it has not been fulfilling. It's like, I'm like, wow, this is a time of like reflection and that deeper growth. And I pulled a card before this. I did a reading before this, a 3-card reading. And where I had been was, I pulled a water card, and it was all about spiritual and emotional growth. And when growth is compounded, like it's in 2 areas, it can feel extra. So I'm being called forward to grow spiritually and emotionally. So it really made sense for me. And Lindsay, I just connected the dots when you shared about your pleasure practice. I was like, oh shit, my pleasure practice is actually, there's been like a missing. And what I think it is related to that spiritual and emotional growth, that my pleasure practice is actually no longer compatible with where I'm growing. And I get to look at that, you know, because like, I mean, for those of you who have been listening to the show for a minute now, like my pleasure practice has been pretty much like unstoppable. And this is like the opportunity with growth is like, we're never done growing. And when we think we are, that's the problem. That's when we should be concerned, because we're actually never done growing, and we're ever expanding, ever evolving into and continually becoming. And it takes a champion to allow oneself to go inward, to get better. Like, think of an Olympian and how much inward time of self-discipline and practice to become an Olympian. So if we like look at that for ourselves as spiritual beings in these human bodies, like becoming an Olympian human being, spiritual being.
Yeah.
Then it's like the forgiveness, the allowing letting go of the shame, stopping a lot. Like, we don't have to actually be judging ourselves to avoid these lessons, that the lessons can be the blessings. What if we bragged about our breakdowns
Yeah.
instead of hid about them and pretended that they weren't happening?
Then
Go on double dates and be like, everything's fine. Me and Jim are fine. We're all good. Everyone's fine. And then go home and be like, oh my God, that was exhausting. Yeah, because you're fucking pretending. Right. And like, I just think that, yeah, this like normalizing the breakdowns, allowing ourselves to come together, to be seen, be witnessed, be in community amongst badasses, because badasses grow. I mean, how many dope people did you meet, Amber J, in MITT?
Oh, and they're still friends. They're confidants
Yeah.
for sure.
That's us. We met in the leadership program and we've been the best of friends since.
Mhm.
So I think that our greatest relationships live in our vulnerability and in allowing ourselves to be seen, and knowing that is, prioritizing that, prioritizing the
What did
space for
it
that.
take for you to be seen? I fought it tooth and nail. It wasn't until I was in my 40s that I even what does that even mean to be seen? And terrifying when it the masks start coming off. You better be in a safe place
Right.
that is not manipulated. We were talking beforehand of there's again yet another cult on Netflix, the Twin Flames. Have you watched that one yet?
Yeah, I saw it pop up. I haven't watched it yet.
Oh my gosh. Watch it. I can't wait to talk about it.
I do like to watch stuff like that.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah,
And
obsessed.
there's
Okay.
a theme of how those unravel, whereas the basis starts out powerful and great, and it is a safe place, and it is important new information that we weren't born with, that our parents couldn't give to us. It is a gymnasium where we get to work out these new muscles of vulnerability and full self-expression and freedom, and who am I, and slowing down, and listening to my inner voice, and then what the action I'm going to take out in the world, and being truly witnessed in that is the most healing experience I've ever had. The most healing, more than talk therapy, more than I don't know what else. Being witnessed in my full vulnerability, just stripped naked, changed my life.
Right.
And I wish it for everyone. But it is not a safe world for people just to be walking around being vulnerable.
Absolutely.
And
You've
it isn't.
got to be resourced and be supported, because it's absolutely true. I mean,
Did something happen?
I don't know.
yeah, I totally thought there was some like twitching happening in our video. I was like, oh, actually, I think that Amber J was talking, but no. Oh, you're just deeply listening to me. Thank you.
Yes. I was like,
Yeah.
yes, give it to me.
Well, I know my brain, I feel like I'm having sex right now. This is like so intellectually stimulating. My brain's vibrating. Well, I lost my train of thought because I really thought there was an audio glitch there.
That's okay. I
Hold on.
can't see Lindsay